It's time for the most interactive radio program in Las Vegas today. It's time for Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro. Brian will talk sports, politics, entertainment, and anything that matters to you. Feel free to call Brian at 702-221-7283.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
Now, Pushing the Limits, here's Brian Shapiro.
All right, what's up, everybody?
What's up?
Yes, happy Friday.
It's Friday.
And really excited. We got a big show lined up for you today. I think we got some audio over there from your laptop, Jamie.
I was wondering where those coming from.
I'm wondering where that 2-second echo is coming from. I'm like, hello, 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 hello. We're doing a show in a live tunnel in Las Vegas today. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. So glad you could be here. I cannot believe I'm going to start the show by telling you guys this. This is it's a miracle because, I'm not the biggest fan of Donald Trump. But ladies and gentlemen, the president of the United States, Donald Trump, is going to be joining us here in about 5 minutes.
Snap.
And I know everyone thinks, oh, Brian, you're full of crap. No, I'm not. The president's going to be calling in. We probably will only get him for about 5 or 10 minutes. It's going to be pretty incredible. But he's going to be joining us, Jamie, so I can't believe it.
I'm excited.
Going to refrain from calling him the orange turd. And we're going to have some fun there. Coming up a little bit later on in the program, I want to get a sense of, all the issues we have in this country from an Australian perspective. My guy, literally, he's my guy. Guy David is going to be joining us in the studio. News background. He comes from Australia, the land down under. And we're going to talk a little bit about gun control and some of the issues in this country with Guy David coming up later on. The very beautiful and talented JJ Snyder from Morning Blend is going to be joining us in hour number 2. What are the doings? What's going on in Las Vegas? I'm actually going to go meet Rick Springfield here tonight. I know you're jealous. I'm
really jealous.
Jesse's girl. Yes.
You do so much without me.
Yes. There's going to be a lot of cougar alert. There's going to be a lot of cougars at the concert tonight. And I'm old, so that's a good thing for me. Anyway, I got to tell you, Jamie, before we get to the president of the United States, I can't believe I'm saying that, but what an unbelievable time I had last night.
I've been seeing your posts, man.
Man, those games were so great, particularly the second game, Gonzaga, and UConn just destroyed Arkansas. I was right about that one. And Gonzaga game was unbelievable. Struthers, the Vegas kid, hitting the go-ahead 3 at the end there. You couldn't ask for a better game. So all of a sudden I see Bill Murray in the crowd and I'm like, why is he rooting for UConn? What's going on? So I go up to, cause I was kind of mingling. I was like 5 feet away from Bill Murray and I start talking to his nephew and I told his nephew, I said, man, I am just, such a big fan of Bill. And I do a radio show here. And then his nephew, without even me saying, he's like, hey, Bill, get over here. This guy does a radio show. I'm like, oh my God. I was like starstruck when you meet a guy like a Bill Murray. And I was talking to Bill. I said, Bill, I'm such a huge fan. Can I get a picture? He's like, may you get a picture? And he had this serious look at his face. And then he said, I'm just messing with you. He takes this picture with me and we start talking about the UConn Huskies. His son is the assistant coach on the UConn bench.
Lit.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that. So talked to Bill Murray for like 5 minutes about UConn. And I was like, wow, did that really happen? It's Bill Murray.
Bringing him on the show?
I would love to, but I didn't even ask him that. I was
Bill,
so
if
in
you
shock.
Hear this, come on the show, man.
I'm sure he's listening right now. But that was so cool meeting Bill Murray. I love that guy. And then I saw one of my golf idols growing up because I'm a big golfer, John Daly, who's a legend.
That's awesome.
John Daly's a legend. I didn't know he went to Arkansas. That's why he was there. He went to Arkansas. So I was able to say a few words to John and gave him a little fist bump. So I'm a big fan. And it was really cool. And then it was all about the basketball. And you couldn't ask for a better college basketball game last night, by the way. I mean, what a game last night between two really good teams in UCLA and Gonzaga. Gonzaga had a terrible first half, and you got to give UCLA a lot of credit for that. And then they came back strong, and Drew Timme had an unbelievable game. What do you have, like 37 and 13 or something ridiculous like that? I mean, the guy just had an unbelievable game. Called him right on this show. I think I've given like 8 winners in a row on this show. Maybe I'll give out a loser now, but I think UConn is going to be too much for Gonzaga tomorrow.
Actually, hold on. I need you to say I was right.
You were right as well. So was Paul McKeskey. All three of us.
Listen, because you were so against me yesterday. I told you that FAU Owls were coming to take
you
the
were right.
W.
You were right.
Come on now.
You were right about that one as well.
Fun fact, though, they're actually my rival school. I went to FIU.
So they're your rivals. Yeah, they played very well. The Michigan State game was great yesterday. I mean, college basketball is so awesome. The NCAA tournament is the best sporting event, in my opinion, in all of sports. It's so great, and I am so pumped for the game tomorrow. I was in basketball heaven yesterday. That second game was so special. Struthers, he goes to Liberty High School here in Las Vegas. He grew up here, and he hits the game winner in a Sweet 16 game. You could not have scripted it any better. And it was just a very special night. It was electric at T-Mobile, and I can't even imagine how loud it's going to be tomorrow when the Gonzaga Bulldogs. I could picture any of these teams winning the national championship. Gonzaga facing off against UConn. I'm sticking with my guns. I just think UConn is going to be a little bit too much for Drew Timme and the Bulldogs to handle. I think it's going to be a very competitive game. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. I think it's going to be electric. I think it's the matchup maybe so far of the tournament, and I can't wait. But it was so much fun yesterday. Having the NCAA tournament here is great, but to have a game like that where the Vegas kid hits the go-ahead jumper, this kid Strother is such a good dude, and sadly he lost his mother at the age of 9, and he's openly talked about this, where he actually talks to his mother when he's at the free throw line during games. And I'm sure his mother would be pretty proud of her son and what he's been able to accomplish. I think he's got a bright future, and he's got a hell of a basketball future ahead of him, and just really, really special. Really special. And I got to be honest, I enjoy a little bit when Mick Cronin is pissed off after a game. He was not a happy camper after that game. He was very angry. But nothing to take away from UCLA. I mean, they've had a phenomenal year, and you never want to lose in a Sweet 16 game like that. But all the celebrities were out, man. My boy Anderson Hunt, I caught up with him yesterday.
Oh, wow.
He did our show, and
the Hunt.
Yeah, he was there, and a lot of UConn former legends, and I was talking to Charlie Villanueva, Khalid El Amin, a lot of former UConn players, and just a lot of former players in general were there. And it was everyone loves coming to Vegas, right? And why wouldn't you want to come to Vegas?
Vegas is a place to be.
Right. I mean, why wouldn't you want to come to Vegas for the Sweet 16 and watch your team fight? I don't know, Jamie, you're new to this city, but I'm loving it, man.
3 days now.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's really cool. All right. So, I have some connections in the radio business, Jamie, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And even though, I lean to the left on a lot of issues, I was making some emails and I was making some phone calls over the course of the last couple months.
You're making some emails?
I was making some emails. Yes, that's the way I talk.
So old.
And, I know some people within the Trump administration, and this is rare. And my understanding, this is the first interview that the former president of the United States will be making since this Stormy Daniels stuff went out. So I don't want to make this guy wait anymore on the line. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you with honor the President of the United States, joining us right now, Donald J. Trump, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Donald J. Trump joining us right now on the line. Mr. President, it is such an honor to have you back on the show. It's been a little while, Mr. President. How are you?
I know. This is quite an honor for you and your station.
Oh,
it is, Mr. President.
How many people are listening right now? 2 million, 3 million?
At least.
Yeah. Probably more.
Fantastic. Well, today we're going to double that. It's going to be like 8-10 million people. Believe me. When this gets out, people are going to be listening from all over because they love me. They absolutely love me. And I have so much on my mind. And you mentioned Horseface. So, I didn't know we were talking about that. But that's okay because it's all just going to blow over. But if it doesn't, I'm excited because, honestly, this is going to be big for me. I'm going to be back in the news 24 hours a day, because I'm the first president ever that is going to be indicted, right? And then two impeachments. So I don't think anyone's going to really catch up with these numbers.
Mr. President,
you know what I mean? Years from now.
Mr. President, some people would say that's not a good thing if you're indicted. You're making it out. You're making it out that this is a good thing that you're going to be indicted, Mr. President. Why would you say that?
It is a good thing. It's just a huge thing. I mean, I'm going to do what they call it, the perp walk, and I'm trying to think: should I kind of move fast? Should I move slow? Because there's going to be a lot of people a lot of people taking photos. So I'm probably going to just kind of, you know how I move slowly sometimes?
Yes.
Or I could do Macho Man. I could do Macho Man as I walk into the federal courthouse. You know, macho.
You're playing this all out, Mr. President.
Oh, everything, every inch, can you imagine what my fingerprints are going to go for on eBay? We're going to sell them on, my website too, but we're going to really do a tremendous job.
Wow.
Yeah, we're going to sell my finger. We're going to sell everything. We're going to sell everything, and it's going to be fantastic. And then if I go to prison, I am going to be the toughest hombre in the prison yard. I'm going to kick everybody's ass. It's going to be amazing.
Mr. President, though, I mean, I don't know if this is, by the way, when you mention Horseface, of course, you're talking about Stormy Daniels. Can you just answer this?
Stormy Horseface Daniels.
Yeah. Can you answer this question honestly? Did you have unprotected sex with Stormy Daniels, Mr. President? Please be honest.
Well, if you want to be honest, and I know that you've had some porn stars on your show, Allura Jensen, is that her name? Allura?
Yes, that's correct.
Allura. And by the way, if it had been Allura, this never would have happened. She would have kept her mouth shut. You know what I mean? But what's her face? She can't shut up. But we did have a tremendous night. I thought it was fantastic. I went a really long time that night. I went over 30 seconds, which is pretty long.
30 whole seconds, Mr. President.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? I'm a busy guy. I can't tie up 2 hours. You know what I mean? These guys who go a really long time.
I feel you. Would you do it again, Mr. President?
Absolutely. I deserve that. Men like me, we deserve, you meet a woman.
Okay.
You have a connection. And you can agree with me on this. You meet a woman, right? Doesn't matter. You guys are in Las Vegas. You meet a woman. You're at a club. You're at a, wherever you are. You meet a woman. You have a connection. You're thinking, I really want to get with this woman. You know what I mean? And listen. I think marriage is a wonderful thing, but you don't have to be fanatical about it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So you don't have to be fanatical, Mr. President. But I mean, do you care about your marriage, Mr. President?
Absolutely. And if I see Melania again, I'm going to tell her how much I care.
Again.
Right now, we're in the middle of a 3-month marathon. She loves hide and go seek. I didn't know this about her, but she's really good at it. Ever since we moved into the White House, I couldn't find her for weeks. And then back at Mar-a-Lago, she knows all the secret passageways.
Oh, she does. I bet she does, Mr.
She does. She's good.
Why don't you guys sleep in the same bed, Mr. President? Because I've heard rumors that you guys haven't had physical relations with Melania in quite some time. Is there any truth to that, Mr. President?
Well, you know what? There is truth to that. And I want to let you know why. There's a serious reason. She's very, very smart, highly intelligent. She speaks 5 languages. Unfortunately, English is not one of them, but she speaks 5 languages.
Okay.
And, even before COVID, she was socially distancing. She was socially distancing. And, she knew, because when Dr. Fauci, the little dwarf that I hired, when he told me about social distancing, I said, I know that because Melania's been already doing it for 2 years. So Melania is just a very, what do you call that? What do you call it when somebody, hypochondriac. Hypochondriac.
Okay.
Mr. President, this is serious, though. Let's get back to the indictment because this is like the breaking news, Mr. President. My understanding is, you put out something on Truth Social that says you said you were going to be indicted on Tuesday, and now
Tuesday.
Yeah. So why didn't it happen, Mr. President? It's Friday now. Are you lying, Mr. President?
Excuse me. Okay, I wasn't lying. I just pulled a date, and there's only 5 days. I had a 1 in 5 chance of getting indicted on that day. How was I supposed to know the grand jury doesn't sit on Tuesdays?
That's true. That's not your fault, Mr. President. So
That's not my fault. That's not my fault.
No, you're right. You're right. Has anything ever been your fault, Mr. President?
Absolutely nothing. That is why I've never seek forgiveness from our wonderful Lord, Jesus Christ. And what's my favorite book, Brian? What's my favorite book?
The Art of the Deal.
That's right. And what's my second favorite book?
You tell me, Mr. President.
The Bible. The Bible. And you know why it's my second favorite book?
Why is that?
Because I'm not in it yet. I'm not in it yet. But I was told by my evangelicals. They told me I'm going to be in the new edition coming up very soon.
Okay.
Very soon.
Will your name be on it, Mr.
Because
President?
I'm a martyr. I'm a martyr.
Martyr. What do you make of Ron DeSantis? Because, a lot of people are saying he's your competitor. You've had different names for Ron DeSantis.
Excuse me. My competitor? When you say someone's a competitor, that means they're equal. They're equal. He's not my equal. Meatball Ron is not my equal. Rhonda DeSantis is not my equal. Okay. By the way, are we on regular radio? Can I give my newest name?
Please.
Rhonda Fat Ass. Rhonda Fat Ass. We're workshopping that at my rally this weekend.
Mr. President, you're not exactly on the front of Fitness Magazine either, though. I mean, let's be fair.
Are you kidding me? Have you seen some of the posters that my wonderful MAGA people have put? I mean, I'm ripped. I'm absolutely ripped. I look like Rambo. I look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who I don't like anymore. But I look incredible. I look incredible.
Who are you going
to? And I play golf almost every single day.
Who did your surgery, Mr. President?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Who did your surgery, Mr. President? You just look so different.
Oh, I know. It's incredible. I think they call it Ozempic. Ozempic, is that the right name?
So, Mr. President, you're obviously running
wonderful little mint flavor.
So, Mr. President, if you're just joining us, by the way, he's Mr. President himself, Donald J. Trump. It's an honor having you, Mr. President. Who are a lot of
you know,
yes.
Brian, I just want to say something.
Yes, sir.
I love that you said Donald J. Trump because you're Jewish, and I love the Jewish people, fantastic people, great people, hardworking people, so good with money, and I love the Jewish people so much. I moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, and the Jewish people love me so much they think my middle name, Donald J. Trump, is Donald Jewish Trump. It's not, Brian. It's not. Please tell the people of the tribe.
Some people
it's not Jewish.
Some people might consider that a little anti-Semitic, Mr. President.
Not at all, because my middle name is actually Donald Genius Trump. That's what the J stands for.
I see, and you do have Jared Kushner, who's also a Jew as well. So that's very
Jew. Fair. He's a Jew.
He is.
He's a Jew, and my daughter Ivanka, who I can't date because of these stupid rules. She's Jewish now.
That's true, Mr. President. I have to ask you this: there's a lot of speculation about who your vice president may or may not be. I've heard Carrie Lake's name out there. We've heard, maybe even, else. She is. I mean, you tell me, Mr. President, I mean, who do you think, you don't have to tell us who you're going to pick, but who are some names out there that you think you would consider?
Well, I think a great pick would be Carrie Lake. She's kind of like that sexy, boyish, tomboyish guy. She's feisty. She stayed with me for 2 weeks at Mar-a-Lago, which, by the way, is the greatest private club in the country. She stayed with me for 2 weeks, even with the boy haircut. She's very, very sexy. And I think we need a really good-looking president and vice president. I think the both of us would be fantastic. I would like also, as a backup, Nikki Haley. I don't know her Indian name. You know what I mean? Patel or something like that. Whatever that is. But she's great too. She's very smart. Smart.
Whatever happened to Mike Pence, Mr. President? You guys don't get along anymore?
Well, I never got along with the guy. What a wimp. You know what I called him in the office? You heard the transcripts, right? I called him the P word.
Yes, you did. I remember that. Yeah.
I did. You know what? What a wuss. What a wuss that calls his wife mother. What a turnoff. What a complete boner killer that is. That's like kryptonite.
But Mr. President, do you feel responsible for getting Michael Cohen put in jail?
Am I responsible?
Yeah. Do you not feel responsible?
How? Excuse me. He's a grown man who's an attorney. You know what I mean? He does what he wants to do. He says, Mr. Trump, whatever he talks. Hey, Mr. Trump, I'm going to pay off this thing for that thing that you did. I'm like, okay, do whatever you do, Michael. You're a smart guy. You have autonomy. Autonomy. You know what autonomy is?
Can you explain, Mr.
You know
President?
What autonomy is?
Can you explain that to us, Mr. President?
Well, I don't know what it is. I'm asking you guys. But I told him you have autonomy, and he did that thing. So that's his fault.
Mr. President.
And listen, and I just want to make something clear.
Yes.
Maybe there was some impropriety, but he already went to jail. Why send 2 people to jail when you can only send 1? I think it's a savings. The prison system is really burdened. My prison reform bill allows for any chief executive who happens to possibly get framed, a 3-bedroom suite in the nicest federal prison in the country.
That sounds lovely. Mr. President, a few more quick questions for you. Why won't you admit that you lost the 2020 election? Why do you still lie and say you won the election?
Well, because if I say I lost, then all the money stops coming in. But if I say I won, the money keeps coming in.
True.
It's very simple math. Very simple math.
That's true. That's true. So,
it also keeps me in the news because we have a very fickle the press, terrible people. The press, terrible people. If you say you lost, they move on and they call you a loser. But if I say I'm a winner, they say, "Oh, he says he's a winner," which is really great because that keeps you in the news.
Well, Mr. President,
and it keeps my people.
Mr. President, whoa, we're a part of the press. This is the news. This is radio.
Yeah.
You're not the news. You're on the radio. Come on.
Oh, it's not the same to you?
They're barely hanging on by their fingernails.
Oh, the shade, Mr. President.
Who are some of your favorite? Now, you don't even do interviews with Fox News anymore, do you, Mr. President?
Not anymore. Not anymore. They sold me out. Rupert, what a wingnut. I could call him some other names. I just don't want to get you guys in trouble.
No.
Him and that phony Australian accent he puts on. He's just an old guy from Bayonne.
Yeah. Is there anything else?
He's so rich.
Is there anything else, Mr. President? Because, boy, it's an honor to speak with you. Is there anything else that you haven't shared with us? Maybe you can break some news with us. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we move on? Anything else?
Oh, well, let me think. We've got so many things brewing right now. I've got the thing in Georgia with the attorney general there who hates me. It's very racist, by the way. It's very racist. You notice all the people trying to indict me? You know what? They hate me. They absolutely hate me. It's just another example of the black man keeping the white man down. It's sad. It's really sad.
Mr. President, I'm a black man. You're talking to a black man on the radio show.
You really believe that, Mr. President, that black men are bringing white men down? You really believe that?
Absolutely. Look what they're doing to me. We got Alvin Bragg. Number one, who names their kid Alvin? He sounds like a chipmunk. You know what I mean? And how self-centered do you have to be to have your last name is Bragg? So sad.
That's true.
So sad.
That's a good point.
But Mr. President, you have the Blacks for Trump. What do you think about that group?
Exactly. I love those. What do I do when I'm at my rallies? I point at the one guy. There's my black friend. There's my black friend. I do it every rally. I make sure we fly him around. Well, we get him around by bus, but he gets there and he's at all the rallies.
Anything else, Mr. President, or is that pretty much all you got?
No, that's pretty much it. My tea time's coming up, so I got to get out there.
Well, I have to tell everybody, because there are people on my social media and people that watch the show live, when they listen to Joe Domenico, who is John. Did I say Joe? Jeez, I get his wrong. I get the famous comic's
That's
name.
my
wrong.
uncle.
Yeah, John, who's done my show before, is a brilliant comic. He is one of the best impersonators out there. He lives here in Las Vegas, and John, you are brilliant with what you do. I got into radio. I got into radio because of Howard Stern. You make all these appearances on the Stern Show, and rightfully so. You're the best in the business, not just as a Trump impersonator, but as a comic. You do both so well. And John, it's just an honor to have you on.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
pleasure,
that.
John.
I
Thank
appreciate
you so much.
that.
What is that like?
Yeah, and listen, for everybody who's listening in Las Vegas, I'm going to be joining Carrot Top on stage during his show tomorrow night. Trump will crash the Carrot Top show. So get your tickets.
And that's at the Luxor, right? Is that the Luxor?
That is at the Luxor.
Yes, I love it.
It'll be a lot of fun.
I love it.
And if you want to, if anybody who's listening wants to follow me, I'm all over social media. So find me, follow me, send me money. All the usual.
Well, you and Trump have that in common. I like that.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
John, no, in all seriousness, John, I know how busy you are, and it's an honor to have you on the show, man. I'm a big fan of yours and what you do, and you're just awesome. And so glad you live here in Las Vegas, and we know a lot of the same people, and you are just the best, my friend. I just want to say thank you for coming on again, and we'll talk to you soon down the road, whether it be you or Donald Trump or even a guy named Joe. I don't know who that is, but anyway, John,
Thanks, guys.
You're the best.
Have a
Thank
great
you, John.
weekend.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you too, my friend. Take care. God, is that guy great? That guy is the best. Oh my gosh. I don't know who Joe is, but John D. Domenico is not only the best Donald Trump impersonator on the planet, in my opinion, but you also have to be funny. And that guy is so funny. He's so talented. And there are people on my social media still that are like, wait, I thought that was really Donald Trump. Maybe for a part of it, I was too, because a lot of the crazy stuff that he was saying is actually stuff that the real Donald Trump was saying, especially when he started talking about the Jewish people. Oh my God, I'm just dying. John Domenico, please follow him on social media. The guy is just a genius. He's so funny. And he's on the Howard Stern show all the time, too. And there's a reason for that, because he's the best Trump impersonator around. And yes, he punked some of you. Yes, he did. There are people that actually thought that was really the president of the United States. Maybe awesome. It was. By the way, maybe it was, by the way. Maybe Donald Trump was impersonating John Domenico. I mean, I guess that's possible. Know. You never know, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun.
That was a blast.
I could not stop laughing. That was, the funny thing is like if we even attempted to do like a serious interview, nobody would know
at all.
Nobody would know. They would think it was really Trump.
Yep.
Obviously, if Donald Trump, the real Donald Trump came, I wouldn't be asking him about his sex life. I would be asking about indictments, but I wouldn't be asking about his sex life. But anyway, we thank John for doing that. That was really cool, and he's an awesome dude. And yes, I have a feeling he'll be making more appearances down the road, Jamie. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we got some go ahead, Jamie.
Oh.
Right.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, hey, you can intro the next segment.
Right.
Yeah, go.
All right, cool, guys. So if you're joining us now, you just heard John D. Domenico, great Trump impersonator. We have a many different headlines coming up to talk to you about, brought to you by the Neighborhood Talk on social media. We have a North Carolina teacher who allegedly lost her visa after taping a student's mouth shut because he was talking too much. A woman is dragged off a plane after getting in a verbal altercation with another passenger, saying, "I'll beat you the beep up." We also have Michigan University allegedly set to segregate graduation ceremonies by race, sexuality, and gender identity. We have another special news segment for you all, so just stay tuned. If you are just not tuning in, we are PTL Radio Show on all media websites, PTLRADIO SHOW. Again, if you just heard that amazing segment by John D. Domenico, you missed out on our facial expressions. Please follow us and also watch us on YouTube. You can literally type in PTL Radio Show. See the behind the scenes.
By the way, who named somebody Alvin? Sounds like a chipmunk. And brag. Come on. God, that was so fun. So many funny things in that interview. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You are listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Yes, sir.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is, because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Look, it's impossible for the average person to find a great attorney out there. There's so much misinformation. Now, let me introduce you to former Chief Deputy District Attorney Thomas Moskal. He was Las Vegas's top DUI prosecutor for years. He prosecuted the most high-profile DUI cases in Clark County. No one knows more about DUI law in Nevada. Just Google it. If you get charged with DUI, whether it's a misdemeanor or even more importantly, a felony, you need Thomas Moskal representing you. His relationships with the prosecutors and judges and his knowledge of DUI law to work for you. So give him a call now or text him at 702-848-5555. It's your life and liberty that's at stake. Don't wait. Call now. That number again, 702-848-5555. Hey, everybody. It's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment and work injuries, you name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client. So please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
When you bring your vehicle to Star Auto Care for maintenance, you'll have a team of professionals at your service. Every one of our technicians has been factory trained and master status certified to ensure that you receive the highest quality and most effective service. Star Auto Care is located at 3540 East Tropicana Avenue, just east of Pecos. Star Auto Care is confident in their prices and will match any mechanic located within 20 miles. Bring your vehicle in today and let Star Auto Care give you the peace of mind you deserve when you service your car. Visit them online at starautocare.us.
Whether you're a corporate executive, on a family vacation, or just passing through, St. George Inn & Suites will meet your specific needs. It's conveniently located near restaurants, shopping, and movie theaters. St. George Inn & Suites offers a variety of room types, 2 fabulous pools and jacuzzis, a fitness center, a free full hot buffet breakfast, and laundry facilities. To make your booking, call 435-673-6661 or book online at stgeorgeinnhotel.com. You need to stop in Southern Utah? Make that stop at St. George Inn & Suites.
Perfect. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pushing the Limits here at KSHP and live everywhere at PTL Radio Show on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. You all won't believe what's in the news headlines. We have a North Carolina teacher allegedly losing her visa after taking a student's mouth shut because he was talking too much. This is a teacher.
Where'd that happen?
Listen, this is Catherine. This actually happened in. Ooh, great question. Doesn't actually North Carolina. Yes, North Carolina.
What a shocker.
Yes. Listen, Carolina. Catherine was very upset that Catherine pretty much was talking about the situation. This is an 11-year-old student who sent a selfie to his mom.
This is a teacher?
Yes.
Who used tape?
Don Felix taped Bradley Webster's mouth with multiple layers of tape.
Well, that's a fireable.
Listen, fireable and jailable offense.
Some people want to put tape. I think Mark wants to put tape over my mouth sometimes.
After he was talking too much. And this is an 11-year-old student. Now, the 11-year-old student was very smart. He sent a selfie to his mom, Catherine Webster, who then spoke out and said she was very upset at the inappropriate choice of discipline because she doesn't tolerate her son being disrespected by a teacher, especially when she's not aware of the situation. I don't condone the situation at all. You don't put your hands on kids at all. I know these kids are bad. Trust me, there's a lot of bad kids, Brian, out here today.
And I'm sorry, why did she tape his mouth?
Because he was talking too much.
Well, yeah, that's the case. And, people want to put tape over their mouth.
But he's 11. They all talk too much.
So what happened to the teacher? Is there any repercussions? I would imagine a teacher's going to get fired.
Yeah, so Felix has resigned and allegedly lost her visa in relation to this incident. So she did have some consequences, but I think this should have been worse. I mean, you're taping a student's mouth shut with multiple layers of tape.
I've never really, I've heard the saying, I want to put tape over your mouth, but like a teacher doing that, we've all heard the saying, hey, my mom put soap in my mouth when I used the bad words.
But leave it up to your parents to do, not to the teachers.
Yeah, that's really, it reminds me of like a terrorist interrogation or something.
Right. How would you feel if your son sent you a picture of tape over the mouth and said the teacher put tape in the mouth?
There is a comedian I've seen in Las Vegas named Tape Space, but I think that's a completely different conversation. Well, listen, obviously, if a teacher does that, I wonder if Republicans will consider that indoctrinating their kids. But anyway, maybe one of the students, maybe it was in Florida, one of the students maybe said, hey, is it okay to be gay? And maybe one of Ron DeSantis' teachers did that. But no, in all seriousness, there are a small percentage of teachers that are really bad.
Yeah.
Right. 300,000 teachers across the country. And most of them are great people. They do a wonderful job. They don't get paid enough money. It's a very difficult job. Mm-hmm. And I love teachers across the country. But obviously, there is a small percentage of teachers that deserve to be fired. I don't know if you can listen, if you hit a child or something along those lines, that's assault. I don't know if you consider it assault if somebody puts tape over somebody's mouth. I don't know what the laws are.
I don't know. An 11-year-old, I feel like
maybe.
Yeah.
Listen, I wouldn't have a problem if you arrested her. Obviously, she can never be a teacher again.
For sure.
And we wouldn't want that. That's the type of story that should be in the news, not stories of fake news of critical race theory or teachers indoctrinating our kids. There's always going to be it doesn't matter what you do for a living. There's going to be a small percentage of you that are not very good at your job or maybe even criminal. And obviously this is a situation of that. And I hope that, and I'm glad that teacher was forced to resign.
For sure.
And I'm glad she lost her visa too. Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Now she resigned on her own. I don't know if she was forced to resign, but she resigned on her own.
I'm sure she,
trying to run away from the repercussions of her actions.
Is there pictures of this? Is there evidence or proof?
There's pictures. Yeah, remember the 11-year-old boy sent his mom, Catherine Webster, a picture of him with tape over his mouth.
That's really bad.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, at the end of the day, it's really hard to look at these kids and not want to do something. I'm not giving this person grace or saying that was tolerable or right. But I also understand why teachers get so upset nowadays and want to retaliate because these kids act way too grown. Way too grown. Have you been seeing the videos of kids actually attacking teachers?
Yeah, that's really bad too. And I think it goes both ways. Yeah, of course, if you have a teacher that does something wrong, you're the adult, you're supposed to be the professional. We want you held to the highest account. But I think that's also parenting. If a teacher is assaulted or if students are even swearing at teachers or disrespecting teachers like that, they need to be disciplined. And I do believe that as a whole in this country, we do not discipline students as much as we should.
Right.
And it starts with parenting, right? But I even saw that when I was in school. I mean, students that are just saying the worst possible things to teachers. And what's the worst thing that can happen? You get a detention? No. Right. I think it should be worse than that. Minimum of suspension. Yeah, I think it goes both ways. But anyway, as I said, Jamie, I'm glad that teacher was I'm sure she was forced to resign.
These teachers need to know how to handle situations better and de-escalate. They're only 11 years old. She could have handled that.
No question.
Now, we have a woman who's dragged off a plane after getting in a verbal altercation with another passenger. This woman was screaming, "I'll beat you the F up." She's named Simone Brian Kim. Again, she got into a verbal altercation with the man over something very, very stupid. But the altercation was so extreme that police actually came and escorted her off the plane. Now, it took 4 officers to carry her off the car, and she scratched and bit at some of them as they arrested her. Now, Kim is facing a felony for violently resisting an officer, 2 felonies for battery on a police officer, and 3 misdemeanors for assaulting an officer with an additional misdemeanor for trespassing.
Wow. I'll tell you that we're seeing more and more of these videos of people acting like complete buffoons on planes. And it seems to happen more and more. And maybe that's because we now have cell phones and people are videoing these types of things. But when you commit crimes on an airplane, it sucks because, all the other passengers, it scares everybody and you're confined in that small space. But yeah, if you commit a crime and it happens to be on an airplane, they're going to come down on you 5 times harder.
Now, listen, Brian, this makes it worse, but it was on a Frontier flight.
Oh boy. Yeah,
Frontier flight.
Spirit, Frontier. There's just some of the worst airlines ever.
This is I mean, listen, I've been on Spirit flights before. I've never had an issue, but also I'm the passenger who gets on and goes straight to sleep.
They'll charge you $80 for a carry-on.
For a carry-on. And then they'll charge you $120 for the carry-on, $80 for the check-in. Make it make sense.
I remember 20, 30 years ago, before you were born.
Oh, come on.
I'm old. And I remember you'd get on a plane. You'd pay. You wouldn't have to spend a lot of extra money for your baggage. You'd get a free meal. You'd get a free beverage. And now it's like you got to pay for peanuts. I mean, it's like
you pay for water.
It's terrible. So many of these seats don't even recline anymore. I mean, it's really
stuck.
Flying unless it's like an hour flight, like unless you're going to LA or something. Like these long flights are really uncomfortable, man. And I'm already a little bit claustrophobic, so it's really hell for me.
You and I both.
Yeah, and it's really uncomfortable to fly these days, and that's why it almost makes me just want to drive sometimes, but it's just like I said, if it's a flight hour and a half, that's fine. But these 5-6 hour flights on some of these airlines like Frontier, they're just really uncomfortable. And then you have unruly passengers and people that are annoying. So there's a lot of negatives to flying these days, and I don't enjoy it. And now we're having all these different issues with, you've heard about this, the turbulence on some of these planes and the seriousness of that. And I guess there's been, I guess we could all blame Pete Buttigieg for this, but there's been near, what would you call it? Near fatal collisions,
death experiences,
collisions with planes, and that's been happening a lot over the course of the last several months. It's scary. Listen, it's more safe to get into a plane. We all know that than driving to work. We all know the statistics prove that. The one bad thing about being in a plane, though, if your plane's going down, the chances are you are not going to make it. Kiss your life goodbye. But yeah, I hate flying. I went into a private jet for the first time in my life, and this was like a $30 million jet. It wasn't one of those small private jets, and it was so comfortable and so enjoyable. And I was able to lie down on a bed in this private jet. This was like, what was this? Like maybe 2 years ago. And it just made me hate flying commercial even more. Maybe I'm a snob.
I've honestly been scared seeing all these different videos because I don't want to wake up to somebody screaming they want to kill me or make the plane crash or blow everybody up. Can you just sit down? Sit down so we can get to where we're going. I'm trying to go home. I'm trying to go on vacation. I'm trying to see my family. Please don't start off my trip on this note. Sit down and shut up.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I'm always the guy that sits next to the crying baby for 3 hours.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that. Especially even when you're in the back and the baby's up front. I know it's probably worse when you're sitting right next to the baby, but that echo all the way to the back of the plane.
Let me ask you a question, Jamie. I'm going to put you on the spot. How do you feel about public breastfeeding?
Public breastfeeding?
I was sitting next to a woman and she did that like right in front of me.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about
that? We may disagree, but I don't have an issue with it. I mean, it's Mother Nature. I believe that at the end of the day, sometimes duty calls and you may have not had the time to actually pump your milk beforehand. And it's also too, it's a good release for the mother. I don't find an issue with it. I do think there's a truthful way to go about breastfeeding, covering the baby up, covering your actual breast, not just having yourself fully exposed for sure. But
that's okay. I don't mind that.
But if you're just all like breast out, just, hey, everybody look, and then it's kind of like, okay, you need to do all that, you know?
Yeah, I do feel like I don't have a problem with it either. I agree with you. If you don't like it, you don't have to look.
Right.
But it's just like when you're sitting next to somebody and there's like drool everywhere and there's that's a little disgusting. I don't really like that. But
yeah, it's gross.
As a whole, I agree with you. I don't really have a problem with it at all. And I don't know, by the way, I don't understand why women have to cover their breasts. Men don't have to.
And so my thing is when you mean cover the breast when they're breastfeeding or cover the breast in general?
That's an argument that I've heard.
Listen, I think at the end of the day, this all comes down to social construction of reality. We have to realize that we have sexualized the woman's body so much to the point where they can't even express themselves without it being for the men's gaze or because of the men's gaze. And so I agree. There shouldn't be any segregation, discrimination, or any separation regardless between who can show their bodies and who can't. I feel as though that we all take a step back and realize we all are born by whatever power you may believe in, and we have the right to express ourselves the way we want to, as long as you're not hurting somebody else or yourself. Do you know?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I just feel like we're too uptight as a society.
I agree.
Listen,
now, this is a great segue to the next statement. There's a Michigan university called Grand Valley State University who is set to host intimate graduation ceremonies based on race, sexuality, and gender identity.
Yep.
Now, they're going to have different ceremonies for African Americans, Asians, Hispanics, Native Americans, and the LGBTQ plus community. And there's an outwar on social media. There's several users on social media that are saying that's a Nazi university or this is ridiculous. Of course, they'll segregate and have different ceremonies for different people. What about the white people? Why can't we have our own ceremony? And I am looking at these comments like, you guys have to be kidding me. The ceremony is for white people. Like everything that we do in America was set and created for white people. There's nothing wrong, in my own personal opinion, I can only speak for myself as an African-American man. There's nothing wrong for setting aside a separate ceremony for different cultures to enjoy themselves and feel as though that they're actually important and put at the forefront of their celebration. When you look at the regular graduation ceremony, it's not relatable to everybody. It's not. You don't have different cultural settings. You don't have different cultural conversations.
Yeah.
You're not having cultural music. They want music that can pertain to everybody. And a lot of times when you're pertaining music to everybody, it's more Caucasian welcoming. And I have no issue with that. But I also do see a favor and an excitement in being able to go where you feel like you're accepted, go where you feel like you're actually wanted, and celebrate that. Now, I actually went to the University of Maryland College Park for my master's program, and I went to the regular ceremony, and then I went to the Nimburo ceremony, which was the African American graduation, and it was great. It felt awesome to be able to talk to people who are like-minded, who look like you, get advice, have those last few conversations about where to go, what to do when it comes to job searches if you didn't already have a job, and just to feel celebrated. Now, even though Grand Valley State University is having this different celebration for different demographics, it's not cutting off the regular ceremony. You could still go to the regular ceremony, and you get to choose if you want to go to your specific ceremony or not. What's your thoughts?
Well, we might disagree a little bit on this one. We are so divided as a nation already. Racially, I wish that wasn't the case. This is hard for me, but I just feel like when you have certain celebrations that are only for one culture, which I'm not a big fan of, I think it's divisive.
Okay.
With that being said, I appreciate the fact that anybody can still go.
Yeah.
It's not like they're saying you can only be white. You can only be black.
You can go. You can go.
That would be wrong.
There were Caucasian people at the African American celebration.
So I don't have a problem with this because they're just saying, okay, we're celebrating a certain culture, but anybody's about. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. But let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, and this is very different. But I'm going to give you an example. The Masters golf tournament is coming up. It's in April every year, and they call it the Masters. And there's a lot of people that think that has some racial connotations as well. In our lifetime, it hasn't even been that long. For much of my life, not only were women not allowed to be members of that golf course, but you couldn't be black. And I understand it's private, right? It's private, and they're allowed to do what they want. It's private. But basically what you're saying is you're allowed to discriminate. Now, there are some schools in this country where you, for example, you can't be gay,
right,
to go to school there.
Right.
And then the excuse I hear is religion, or, well, listen, it's private. They should be able to do whatever they want. No, they shouldn't. So that's an extreme example, and I understand they're not doing that here, which I appreciate. I think it's great. You know, I went to Chinese New Year celebration here. It's not that Americans couldn't go to it, right? It's just that, they're celebrating a different culture. I have absolutely no problem with that. I think that's great. But just let everybody go. Let everybody learn. Let everybody learn a little bit more about the culture. That's what I did there. I really enjoyed myself. It sounds like that's what they're doing here.
Right.
So in this specific situation, I have absolutely no problem.
So you don't disagree with me?
No, I don't. But so maybe we don't disagree.
Okay.
But
I was like, where's the disagreement at?
I just don't like, and then it gets into the whole situation when it comes to religion and separating men from women. That's not why I'm not a very religious person. I'm glad that they're inviting anybody. Anybody can go and learn about the culture. I have no problem with that at all.
Yes.
How do you feel about black entertainment television?
I think it's awesome. BT, that's great. Now, before we get into that, I do want to make a quick comment on what you just stated. You were saying how there are schools out here that keep gay people out. Again, segregation, discrimination, and homophobia. That is exactly why these different ceremonies and celebrations are needed.
Gotcha.
Look at Ron DeSantis in Florida. He's trying to remove
Santos is the guy that lies a lot.
Santos. Thank you for the
They're
fact
both
check.
idiots, though. Go ahead.
Listen, thank you. Again, Santos, everybody. So look at the way he's trying to get rid of Rosa Parks' books. He's trying to get rid of slavery.
Absurd.
He's trying to say segregation and slavery never happened. That was a falsity. And it's like, dude, do we need to fact check you? This is exactly why.
Let me ask you a question. And this is maybe something that a MAGA Republican would ask, but I'm going to ask it.
Go right ahead.
I just want to get your thoughts on this.
Go right ahead.
So we have BET, of course, Black Entertainment Television.
Yep.
How would you feel if a network started, or maybe Newsmax, but they should, but if I'm just joking and partially being serious, white entertainment television.
Brian, there is white entertainment television everywhere you go. MTV, VH1.
You think MTV's white entertainment?
Yes, it is.
Really?
It is white. It's white owned, ran for and by white people that also takes from the African American culture and other different demographics to make themselves current. These channels were already made for Caucasian people and for their entertainment. This is exactly why I always push for diversity and representation. Now, if a perfect world could happen, we can all be in one space together and not have to have different ceremonies, that would be amazing. But we're nowhere near that. Look at all the divisiveness that President Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump has had. Ron DeSantis. Look at all these different reasons and people that we have that are pushing for current discrimination, current segregation, and pushing us back years behind. At the end of the day, when And excuse me for saying this, because again, you are still Jewish, so you are considered technically a minority and a part of a minority demographic, but you're also still a white presenting male. And so you can get away with so many more things that I can't as an African American male. On top of that, there are a lot of things that roll over your head.
Well, the difference is when someone looks at me, they don't know that I'm Jewish.
Exactly.
And when someone looks at you, they know that you're black.
Exactly.
And, I never came from that perspective of MTV is white entertainment television, and it's interesting. I never really thought like that.
You wouldn't think like that because you don't have to.
There are a lot of white people that run the right.
But then again, you don't think.
But I don't think they're doing like white culture on there necessarily, right?
But hear me out though. Again, you wouldn't have to think about that because you don't have to. On top of that, it's not white culture right now anymore because white culture isn't the trend.
Right.
White culture is not the brand in today's society. It's African American culture. It's hip hop.
I don't have a problem with black entertainment television.
Right.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on, because I hear a lot of people, not me, but a lot of people, they'll say, maybe not a lot of people, but some
there are people who out there I've heard
may or may not be racist that say, well, why do they have black entertainment television? Why don't they have white entertainment television? I wanted to hear it from you.
And you have to understand this, for anybody who's listening who feels that way, I understand where you're coming from because it may seem divisive to you. But take a step back and realize how you never have to fight for representation.
Right.
These spaces are made because we, as a minority group, African-American people, don't have representation and didn't have representation as much in the media.
Listen, I understand
so we needed to have those spaces.
And when we had our Donald Trump joined us in hour number 1, and he said black people have, what did he say, have done to white people? They have suppressed white people.
We can't suppress them.
Very funny joke.
We don't have the power.
Jamie, it's a very funny joke, but there are actually some white people
who
that actually believe that.
They do.
So we're kind of up against a break, unfortunately. But I think this is a segment that I'd like to do on a regular basis with you. I like it when you choose some topics that are interesting, controversial, and we talk about them. I think it's awesome. But Jamie, we're going to continue the conversation on the other side.
For sure.
Before I do that, I want to talk to you guys about my good friends at Sahara West Urgent and Primary Care. They're located at 6125 West Sahara Avenue, Suite 1B. You don't need an appointment, but if you want to give them a call, their number is 702-248-0554. You could visit them at SaharaWestUrgentCare.com. I tell you right now, I was in and out of there in 20 minutes. I got the testosterone therapy, and it, as you can see, I'm just raging in anger. No, I'm just kidding. It did help me though. It was really cool, and as you can see, I'm the Incredible Hulk. Not like Jamie, but I'm getting there. So please check them out. Sahara West Urgent and Primary Care and tell them I sent you. All right, we got a treat coming up now, Jamie. From an Australian's perspective, we're going to talk about gun control. We're going to talk about the Trump indictments. Everything and anything that has been in the news this week with my guy, literally Guy David, who's been on this show before. He's got a news background, and I'm looking forward to getting his takes on the issues facing this country from the perspective of the land down under. Yes. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. He's Jaime Dee. I'm Brian Shapiro. Give out that info, Jamie.
Yeah, everybody, we're having such an amazing Friday today. Again, it's Friday.
Yes,
so follow us on all of our social media accounts at PTL Radio Show. That's PTLRADIO. SHOW. You never know what's going to happen on the show. It's always a whirlwind of fun. Okay, so follow us and keep in current contact with us because we want you guys to call in, comment, and just have a good time. All right,
that's right. You never know.
Yeah, you never pushing the limits.
That's right. You never know. You could have Donald Trump calling in and making anti-Semitic, racist comments like we had in the first segment. Anyway,
for sure,
Jamie's right about that. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this with Guy David. You're listening to Push the Limits right here on KSHP.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site X-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams and treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client. So please give them a call, 702-248-0554. Look, it's impossible for the average person to find a great attorney out there. There's so much misinformation. Now, let me introduce you to former Chief Deputy District Attorney Thomas Moskal. He was Las Vegas's top DUI prosecutor for years. He prosecuted the most high-profile DUI cases in Clark County. No one knows more about DUI law in Nevada. Just Google it. If you get charged with DUI, whether it's a misdemeanor or even more importantly, a felony, you need Thomas Moskal representing you. His relationships with the prosecutors and judges and his knowledge of DUI law to work for you. So give him a call now or text him at 702-848-5555. It's your life and liberty that's at stake. Don't wait. Call now. That number again, 702-848-5555. Hey, everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client. So please give them a call, 702-248-0554. Look, it's impossible for the average person to find a great attorney out there. There's so much misinformation. Now, let me introduce you to former Chief Deputy District Attorney Thomas Moskal. He was Las Vegas's top DUI prosecutor for years. He prosecuted the most high-profile DUI cases in Clark County. No one knows more about DUI law in Nevada. Just Google it. If you get charged with DUI, whether it's a misdemeanor or even more importantly, a felony, you need Thomas Moskal representing you. His relationships with the prosecutors and judges and his knowledge of DUI law to work for you. So give him a call now or text him at 702-848-5555. It's your life and liberty that's at stake. Don't wait. Call now. That number again, 702-848-5555.
STN Sports is the only sports betting app you need this season. STN Sports has it all. In-play betting, mobile parlay cards, the Play Plus card to fund and withdraw from anywhere in Nevada, and the latest lines on every game. STN Sports even lets you earn rewards on every bet. Safe and easy betting from your phone or tablet. Go to stationcasinosports.com or sign up at any Station Casino, Fiesta Wildfire, or the El Cortez. Details at the sportsbooks.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is.
World famous
because why be a sub?
Show weekday on 1400 KSHP North Las Vegas and KSHP.com.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Friday, coming up at the bottom of the hour. The very beautiful and talented JJ Snyder doing this morning blend. And if you're looking to figure out like what are all the doings in Vegas, I'm going to see Rick Springfield tonight because I'm just so special. And going to the Sweet 16, or I shouldn't say that, the Elite 8 game between UConn, my UConn Huskies, grew up in Connecticut. And of course, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. That's going to be a lot of fun. But I figured let's switch things up a little bit here. I like to get perspectives from all sorts of different people from all over the place. And the guy we have with us in studio right now, he's been on this show before. Ladies and gentlemen, he comes from the land down under. Yes, that's right. He lives here in Las Vegas, and I always like to get the perspectives from, as I mentioned, people that come from all different walks of life, and he's a news junkie, just like I am. That's right. Oh, I love the music. I love it. From the land.
Turn it up.
I come from the land down under. Yes.
Okay.
Hi, David. Joining us.
Hey, how are you?
You, my
It's
friend.
good to see you too.
How you doing?
I'm well. Life's good for you. Sweet 16, Rick Springfield, Elite 8.
Yes.
I can't be complaining.
You guys make me very insecure because you're two strapping young men, and look at me.
You got the talls in
Yeah,
the building.
I'm like this bald Jewish 42-year-old guy out of shape, and I look at you guys and it makes me I feel like I got the Chippendales in the studio right now.
You haven't seen me with my shirt off. You won't be saying that if I took my shirt off.
God, take it off. Take it off.
I don't know, but anyway,
It'll
guys,
fall out.
anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that, and a lot to get to with you. Let me start with the biggest news story. I want to get your thoughts because I know you're a news junkie like me, and you follow what's going on. What do you make of the Trump indictment story, which allegedly, apparently, is going to happen next week? He's going to get indicted, right? I mean, what do you make of this story? Do you think it's all political, or do you think there's validity to this? What are your thoughts on it?
I think Democrats have got to be careful. Firstly, I think if he does get indicted, which it looks like he's going to, it's going to look political. And it's going to look political for a few reasons. This was an alleged affair in 2006?
Correct.
And then the hush money was paid during his first presidential campaign, 2016.
Literally the night before, the elections,
And then they haven't done anything for 7 years, 6 years.
The last DA passed on this case.
Right. And now you've got this new DA. It looks very politically motivated. And do you know what I think? I actually think Trump wants to be arrested.
Yeah.
I think he is thinking, it's going to be a minor misdemeanor charge. I'll get off this, but this will propel me to the presidency and motivate my supporters. And he can spin this any way he wants.
Yeah.
And that's where he is very, very good. And his supporters, we know, believe every word he says. So I think the Democrats have got to be a little careful here.
I agree with you. And we had the guy who unleashed the whole deep throat Watergate attorney, forgetting his name, but we had him on yesterday or 2 days ago. And he basically said what you were saying right now. And he's a staunch Republican. He said he's tired of Donald Trump, but this case stinks. He actually said something interesting, which I agree with, which is the case of the classified documents is something where Trump will probably get convicted on that. He's probably going to get convicted on that case, but this case is weaker. This is a weak case.
That was John D. O'Connor, the San Francisco attorney.
Yes.
That's what I found it so strange. They're going after him for this,
right?
Paying some hush money, but there's the classified documents.
Yeah.
There's the insurrection he caused where people died because he couldn't say,
Georgia,
I lost.
Yep. And the Georgia electors where he tried to interfere in the outcome of the election. Yeah.
There are so many other things that look more valid to pin something on him with.
Agree.
He's going to go and milk this as much as he can.
There are people around him that are saying that allegedly that he actually, like what you just said, he wants that perp walk. He wants to be handcuffed behind his back because you'll make more money and he'll get more contributions. But I actually think this is good for Democrats. Hear me out on this.
I'm going to.
Ron DeSantis can beat Joe Biden.
Agreed.
I do not believe at this stage, and I don't think anything's really going to change much in the next year and a half. I don't think Donald Trump can beat Joe Biden.
Why do you say that? You just don't think anything's changed enough?
No.
I think there are more Republicans day by day that are getting tired of Donald Trump.
I agree.
I really feel that way. And I know you never know what can happen because most of us thought Hillary was going to win in 2016. I'm telling you, Joe Biden, as much as I don't want him to run again, I really do not feel like Trump can beat Joe Biden, but I feel like DeSantis can. I don't think this is bad for Democrats. I really don't.
DeSantis will beat Joe Biden. You're right. And the Republicans should be doing absolutely everything they can to make him the nominee. But Trump's support and he's too powerful. People are literally scared of him in the Republican Party.
So some of them are, I agree with you. But if we're talking about Republicans that voted for him in 2016, and by the way, less Republicans voted for him in 2020.
Yep.
I also feel like it'd be even less than that in 2024. That's my opinion. I could be wrong on that, but that's my opinion.
This is what I'm worried about. I'm worried Trump can flip Arizona back easily. I'm worried he can flip Nevada here. I'm worried he can flip Georgia.
You really think he can flip Nevada.
Hasn't been done for many, many years, right? 1992, maybe. I don't know. But I think he could. And I think Georgia will go back red. I think Arizona will go back red. It's going to come down to the Wisconsin, Minnesotas. And that's what makes me nervous.
I understand why you would be nervous. I get that. And, you and I agree politically, especially when it comes to Donald Trump.
Can't he just go away? Can't he just go away?
That'd
He
be
refuses
the best thing.
to.
The best thing.
Well, I don't think he's going away. He's not going.
He's a sore loser. He won't be able to go away.
He's not. He's not going away. But I personally believe that if it's Trump versus Biden, Biden's going to be fine.
Yeah.
If it's DeSantis versus Biden, I think you have more reason to worry. That's just my personal opinion.
No, you're right.
I have a question for both of you all, though. Do you not believe that Ron DeSantis is a smaller version of Trump? Look at all the different policies he's enacting against African American people and those in the LGBTQ plus community.
Well, you're not going to get an argument from me on that.
I mean, he has a very divisive plan in place for
but
American people.
Listen, I'm not defending DeSantis. I think he's an absolute scumbag. He's a bad guy. But I'm just speaking on in terms of the country as a whole and Republicans. A lot of Republicans, they love DeSantis. He's younger. I think he is probably, even though I think he's despicable, he doesn't say and do the things that Trump does on a regular basis. He's not as fringe and as crazy as Trump is, but he still holds the same beliefs of whether it be critical race theory or indoctrinating kids or the Don't Say Gay bill, or attacking, those that are seeking asylum here. He has all those right-wing crazy base or abortion, but he doesn't insult people every day like Donald Trump does.
Right.
And I think Republicans, some even staunch Trump supporters are getting a little sick of Trump.
Now, hear me out. And I'm not a supporter of either one of those people, but wouldn't you rather want somebody who's outright about their feelings and thoughts versus somebody who is just using their actions to portray something? Personally, I'd rather know what my president is going to get into versus wondering how Ron DeSantis will do in office.
Let me ask Guy that question. Guy, why do you think there's so many people that are Republicans out there that like Ron DeSantis?
Because he opened up Florida. Because he took a stand when the country was shut down. He did it his way. The Republicans really, really enjoyed that. But again, I think he is a small Donald Trump. I actually think he's learned a lot from Donald Trump because Trump's a politician we've never seen before. And I've said this to you before. I'm not convinced DeSantis is going to run, especially the polls now. They're showing Trump sort of inkling ahead now. And I think DeSantis is watching that closely. I think he's a little bit afraid of Trump. Look what Trump's already done. He's already released a photo of DeSantis drinking with girls.
Yep.
Trump has no filter. He will keep going like that. And I don't know if DeSantis wants these things exposed right now. So if Trump continues to go ahead in the polls, I'm not sure DeSantis will run. I could be wrong, but I'm not sure.
Now, real quick, though.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Look at how the Joe Biden versus Kamala Harris race went. I mean, Joe Biden made Kamala Harris their vice president. So do you not think that will happen with Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump? Do you not think there may be a tag team? You don't think at all?
No.
You don't think at all?
I think if Donald Trump wins, Carrie Lake will be his nominee.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I do. I really do. As far as DeSantis goes, I think what you just said, going back to what you just said, makes a lot of sense. I think if Ron DeSantis is smart, what he's going to do is he's going to not run and he'll wait 4 years. And I can almost guarantee you he'll probably be our president in 2028, unless the Democrats have some, magic wand. I don't know. But I just think DeSantis would win in 2028. He's just not going to win. I don't think he's going to beat Trump. I just don't think that's going to happen.
You stomach, even though you believe Biden will beat Trump, can you even stomach election night? How nervous you're going to be sitting back and watching this whole fiasco again?
I was in a really bad mood in 2020 because the night of the elections, I didn't take into account all the mail-in votes, mail-in ballots, and all that stuff. And at that time, Trump, and Trump was winning pretty handily at that time. And then I wake up in the morning, and then I see all the mail-in ballots had been counted throughout the night. And of course, the right-wing idiot buffoons out there don't understand. Oh, you see, they cheated. No, they didn't. It's because the mail-in ballots were counted, and we weren't able to count all the ballots. It was a sigh of relief for me because I didn't want Trump to win. But Trump's not going away. He'll take to his grave that he won the 2020 election and it was stolen from him. I really do believe, Guy, that there are a lot of Republicans out there that are sick and tired of the Trump stuff already and the drama, and they just want to go with DeSantis. I really believe that. But at the same token, this is going to help Donald Trump become the Republican nominee, especially, can you imagine the perp walk and he's got hands behind his back? You know what these Republicans do? They make these people out, if they commit crimes, as some heroes. Like I remember the Kyle Rittenhouse case, right?
Exactly. Oh my God.
Yeah. Kyle Rittenhouse is some sort of, hero to Republicans out there. Now, even though he may not have committed a crime and he was found not guilty, he's an idiot.
Right.
George Zimmerman, another case where Republicans, the Trayvon Martin case, where George Zimmerman was a hero to some Republicans. I don't know if you remember the McCloskeys. Do you remember the McCloskeys? They're the couple Black Lives Matter protest where there were people not even on their private property, but there were people on that street, Black Lives Matter protesters, and the McCloskeys, the couple, they took out guns.
Yes.
You remember that story? And they were pointing them. And
they went to jail.
Yeah.
They didn't go to jail. They were charged.
They were charged, and then the charges were dropped by a Republican.
Yeah.
But guess what Republicans did? They took that couple and they spoke at the Republican convention. They make these people out to be heroes.
It's so weird. The Kyle Rittenhouse one, I'll never understood. He took the lives of two people who were protesting because he crossed into their protest. He crossed state lines with an AR-15. If I was protesting and I saw a kid with an AR-15, I'd be equally as scared, and I'd probably try and defend myself or defend my family.
I agree with you. He should have never been there
at all.
He should have never been in that situation. And then, the first guy attacked him. So he killed the first guy, and then he's running with a gun, and people think there's an active shooter.
Exactly.
So I don't blame the other people for doing what they did.
Did you all see the video game they made after the person? They made a video game after him. Did you guys see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it was all over social media. I don't think it made national headlines, but they made an actual video game
after Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yes, where you could actually play as him.
That's pretty
shooting at a protest. It was despicable.
I really hope you dreamt that, and it's not actually true.
What do people in Australia? I know you don't speak for all people in Australia, but being that that's where you're from, what do people in Australia think of this country as far as Black Lives Matter? As far as January 6th, what is your sense from people? Because I imagine you still have friends and family in Australia.
My parents are still there. Brothers, sisters are still there.
What do they think of this era in this country?
Well, the January 6th thing is absurd. And Trump always says, I want to do the best for America. I'm running for America. America. If he truly cared about America, not himself, he wouldn't have incited an insurrection. It's simple as that. It would have been a peaceful transition of power.
Right.
That shows that he does not care about America. He cares about himself. And that's what a lot of Australians think. The other thing, they just think it's silly. That they look at Trump still as a reality star that says stupid things. When he became president, I think most of Australia was like, did this really happen? We've gone from Obama to this? Is this real? Yeah. But America's such a broad country.
It is.
Yeah. There's so many different places and so many different people. And it's a beauty about America. That's why I love it. But it's hard to comprehend what people are thinking all the time.
You're right. And a lot of the topics that I hear about, even in this country about Australia is the lack of, which is a good thing, of gun violence and real, mass shootings. And Australia, for the most part, correct me if I'm wrong, a pretty safe country, right? And here we have more mass shootings than anywhere in the world. When you look at 50,000, a year in gun violence deaths, when we look at, and Jon Stewart made a good point about this in an interview, and he's interviewing one of these right-wing gun nuts, and this right-wing gun nut that he's interviewing is talking about, how drag queens reading books to our kids is so bad. And then Jon Stewart says, do you know what the leading cause of deaths in children are? It's not drag queen shows. It's not drag queens. It's gun violence. Mm-hmm. And they have no answers. I mean, why? What are your thoughts on gun violence in this country, how Australians feel about gun violence in this country?
And before you both go into that, so the fact check on the Kyle Rittenhouse, it's called Kyle Rittenhouse Turkey Shoot. So he's going around shooting turkeys, pretty much promoting what you're about to talk about.
That's pretty bad.
Guns and gun violence.
That could not be more disrespectful to the families of people that lost.
Yeah, despicable.
That's actually disgusting. But that is the number one thing, not only for Australians, but I think many countries around the world. They can't work out this obsession with guns in America. And I'm going to be completely objective here and tell you how I see this. We had a massacre in 1996 at a tourist attraction where a mentally ill person came in
Australia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shot 30 people dead.
No.
The next day, the government said, hand in your guns. That's it. and no one in Australia had a problem with it. Now, I have to be objective here. Australia, we all live on the coast. There's nothing in the middle, so we don't hunt. So we don't need a gun for hunting. Most of us had never shot a gun before, and we only have 30 million people compared to America has 300 million. So it was easy for us to hand our guns over. But since then, no one has died from a gunshot wound. No one has been, there's never been a massacre since 1996. How long ago was that? Now, I understand in America, there's the Second Amendment. I know that can be changed, but there is a Second Amendment, and there's 300 million people, and there's responsible gun owners because there's hunters, there's people that like to hunt. I understand that. No one here is trying to take anyone's guns away if you're a responsible gun owner. We, for the life of me in Australia, everywhere else in the world, do not understand how basic background checks cannot be passed and how anyone can just go and buy an AR-15.
Right.
That is an assault weapon. That didn't exist when the Constitution was written. That has to be outlawed.
Yeah.
And then you have this buffoon from Alabama
Right.
saying, what's his name? Saying he wants to make it the national gun of America or something.
Right.
How disrespectful is that? If my child was shot dead and I heard the Alabama senator say that, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate disrespect.
Let me ask you.
Why can't we get, who needs now 15?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why there are people on the fringe right that, they talk about their First Amendment rights, their Second Amendment rights, and freedom of speech and freedom to bear, the right to bear arms. But there are too many lawmakers and politicians on the right that are in the back pocket of the NRA. That's number one. They want that A+ rating for the NRA, and they care more about that than actual solutions. And I have these debates and arguments with Republicans all the time. They want to say, well, you don't know what an assault weapon is. And I say, okay, let's just say you know more about me than guns. And let's just say you're right for argument's sake. I ask them, then what are your solutions? And many of the right-wing buffoons that I talk to about this issue, they think more guns are the answer. And I say, okay, we have more guns in this country than people. You look at what you just talked about in Australia, it makes complete sense to me, right? But in this country, we have more guns than people. It's not working. So you can't tell me that more guns are the answer. Well, we need to harden our schools. First of all, there are mass shootings at schools, sadly, but a lot of other places as well. Hardening our schools isn't going to help. Arming teachers is not going to help. Their only answer seems to be give people more guns because good guy wins against the bad guy. Last I checked, we had the biggest mass shooting in American history right in our backyard here in Las Vegas. And he killed, tons of people, dozens and dozens and dozens of people. And this is the problem. They say, well, guns don't kill people. People kill people. Well, you're not allowed to have a bazooka in this country. It is, right? You're not allowed to have a bazooka. You can't have an armed tanker. With rights, you also have to have responsibility.
Right.
You don't have to be trained how to use a gun in this country. That's absurd. You go get a driver's license. As you know, Guy, I'm assuming it's the same in Australia. You got to get your driver's license. You got to make sure you know how to use a vehicle and use it properly. You're with an instructor. You have to re-register your car all the time. None of that with a gun.
Right.
Help me understand. I don't understand.
No one does.
Did you both see that 2 Alabama classrooms now have $60,000 whiteboards that turn into gun and storm shelters?
I did.
That's
not know
ridiculous.
that. Yeah.
We don't need to have these actual sheltered whiteboards that get pulled out to defend against gun violence in our schools.
We're all close to the same age. I mean, you're younger than us, but we never had to deal with this stuff, Guy, in school, right?
No, absolutely not. So you go to Australia one day and you will walk down the street, you will go into a bar, you go into a restaurant, and you will not have to worry about getting shot. If some guy doesn't like you, he might fight you.
Right.
But you're not going to be massacred. You got to use your fists.
I always thought in school the dumbest thing ever was the tornado watch. You have to get on your knees and bend down and cover yourself. And now we have kids actually have to prepare for gun shootings, massacres.
You're right. Yeah, no, it's terrible.
That's horrible.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
If I was a teacher, I'm trained to teach. That's my expertise. And now you have politicians saying, arm them. That's completely unfair to the teacher.
Ridiculous.
So they don't trust these teachers when they're indoctrinating our kids, critical race theory, but we'll trust you with a gun.
It makes no sense at all.
Welcome to the Republican Party, ladies and gentlemen. Why is it, Guy, that it seems as a whole, people in Australia, they're not infatuated with guns. You mentioned it. In 1996, you had 30 people that died, and you didn't hear from people on the right, no, you can't take our guns away. Our forefathers, blah, 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 blah. They were
It
willing.
happened immediately
Yeah.
because we value human life.
So
And we were mortified at what happened to 30 people enjoying a tourist attraction in Australia that got mown down by a mentally ill person.
So, Columbine, we go back to the Columbine shooting. Nothing happened then. We go to the shooting here in Las Vegas. I think Trump passed something along the lines of bump stocks, which really is a nothing burger.
Thanks.
Nothing. We had Sandy Hook where a bunch of 8 and 9-year-old kids were massacred. Nothing has been done, and it's not because Democrats are not willing to do things. I'm sorry, I'm blaming Republicans for this. 100% of the responsibility is because of Republicans. And why is it in this country, do you feel like, Guy, unlike Australia where you're from, that so many people in this country are obsessed and infatuated with guns?
I actually don't know. The only thing I can really think of is, again, we're around the coast. We've never hunted. We've only fished. We just play sports. We live life. We've never really had to use a gun. I guess hunting's been around here for a long, long time. That's the only thing I can really think of, because I don't get it either. And I'm going to say this again. I can't stand when people say they want to take my guns. They want to take my guns. I respect the Second Amendment. I became a citizen. I went through the right process. It's not going to be like Australia because that's not going to fly here. Evan, I understand that. I want some basic gun control. I want assault rifles banned. If you're a responsible gun owner, you can keep your gun. But people can't keep being massacred like they are. And we're going through the same vicious cycle over and over again. And I'm telling you, the world, Asia, Europe is not laughing, is mortified at us. And I'm a proud American. So that hurts my feelings as well.
Right.
I agree.
I mean, at the end of the day, I personally believe, and I can only speak for myself, that guns are such a big thing here because it makes those who are weak powerful. At the end of the day, you said that in Australia, the worst thing that can happen is a fight. I mean, we get into a fight, you may get beat up, you get some bruises. That's one thing. But you're losing your life with guns. And I feel like people believe that, well, if I bring a gun to this fight, you're going to back down. I'm more powerful than you are. Look at me, hear me roar.
Even worse, guys, in this country with these open carry laws, in some places it's okay to have open carry at like a bar. What if you get into a bar fight and someone's intoxicated and there's guns?
That's horrible. Listen, that's when the gun open carry was introduced in Texas, I was a promo assistant for a radio station, and it was literally the first day, and we were having a conversation in our building about what we should do because we're going out to actually do promos for the station that day, and everyone was like, well, I really don't feel comfortable because it was in a very kind of white necky part of Dallas, Texas, and we were like, we really feel like they're going to come out here and kind of be extra about it. We're not trying to actually be around that. The second I set up my table, I kid you not, there's this one guy who came to every single one of our promos, the nicest guy. This man came up with this hugest gun, and it wasn't like it was in his pants where you couldn't see it. It was out on his hip. He had a completely different persona. It's like he came up to show that he had a gun, and he was just this big dude. And I'm sitting here like, how did you go from such a sweet, cool guy to like, I'm actually low-key afraid of you. And I'm sitting down, and you're above me, and I'm looking at your gun eye level.
Do you guys ever? I worry about road rage because I'm not the best driver. I piss a lot of people off.
I probably flipped you off a few times.
I don't mean to. I've just been driving on the left in Australia and on the right in America, and I don't half the time know what side of the road I'm supposed to be on. Completely understandable.
You're like Chevy Chase and European National Lampoon's European Vacation.
Yeah, so I just really follow, and I annoy people. And I always wonder, sometimes I get flicked off all the time. Sometimes I'm worried that one day a guy's going to pull out a gun on me.
I would worry about that as well. And that's why I tell people, dude, it ain't worth it. If somebody cuts you off, if somebody, is driving like an idiot, just let them go.
I do that.
Because you never know who these people are. And you're right. We're a country that's so infatuated with our guns. It's really scary. It really is.
We shouldn't feel like that.
No,
we should not feel like
at
this.
all.
You're right.
I felt powerless. And even to your point, Guy, I remember I was in Atlanta, Georgia at this time working at another radio station. And I 100% did not remember cutting this woman off whatsoever. Apparently I cut her off. I didn't know what I did, but she was chasing me throughout the streets. And I was so confused. I was driving regular, but I'm like, why does this car keep coming up behind me, honking, looking like they're about to like hit me? And so I was like, I feel like I should pull over into like a public like space,
right?
And so I can like see what's going on. I pulled over, and this lady hops out of her car and charges towards my car. My thing is, I'm a tall guy, and I know I can defend myself. I'm not gonna put my hands on a woman, but I'm like, I was low-key afraid. Like, what is going on with this lady? Like, you never know what these people are going through. And if this girl had a gun, I'm sure she would have shot at me. There was nothing stopping this girl
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, listen, it's scary, man, and we're living in very scary times in this country, and I don't think the sky's falling down, but things aren't getting any better. I'm pretty confident that I would say, while I wouldn't want to live in any other country in the world, at least right now, I love this country. We have a lot of issues. Australia seems to be a pretty safe country for the most part, and it seems like the lawmakers in your country, where you are from, are more reasonable. They get along. We don't have the you-know-what show that we have in this country, where it's just one side attacking the other side and vice versa constantly, and never getting things done for the American people.
I always say in Australia, humans don't kill you, animals kill you.
Yeah.
Oh, your
No,
animals
you're
in
right.
Australia scare me.
You're
I'm not
right.
gonna lie. Your spiders
You're
scare
right.
me.
You're right.
I have a quick question for both of you all. I want to get your opinion. You were talking about how hunting is a really big thing here in America, and a lot of people don't want to give up their guns because of that. What do you all think about literally just being able to rent out guns when it comes time for hunting season? You get to pick the type of gun you want, use that gun during that time, have it freely, do whatever you want in that hunting season, but you have to return it at the end of that season.
It's a good thought. It just won't fly because the right, and I guess they're going to say, I have the right to protect my family. I have the right to protect my family now. So they're going to want a gun in their house at all times, even though it's meant to be in a safe place in the house. So you have to get it out and do the lockbox and everything. So you're probably in trouble by then. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
it's a good idea, though.
I think responsibility. I look at the what you guys are referring to. I remember the shooting at Sandy Hook in Connecticut, where I'm from. I'm from Connecticut, and the mother had this mentally deranged kid who couldn't even interact with people, and she taught him how to shoot a gun. How stupid can you be? And her stupidity
Absolutely
cost
not.
her life, and sadly many others. But I mean, there has to be responsibility, and I don't trust people. I think there's a lot of people in this country I know that are not responsible with their guns, and they let their kids get their hands on guns. You have the Lauren Boeberts of the world, days after mass shootings, that are taking Christmas pictures with their family, with young children with AR-15s in their hands. I mean, you're a nut job if you're doing stuff like that. It really is.
I think most people think she's a nut job.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on
She
that.
nearly lost the unlosable seat.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you on that. Anyway, Mr. Go ahead, Jim. You had something you wanted to say? Go ahead. Oh, okay. I thought you were signaling me. Okay. Well, Guy, I appreciate you joining us, and I got to tell you, my friend, we're going to be doing this every week with you, the Land Down Under segment, as I like to call it, with Guy David. Rich, I love the accent, by the way. I love it,
dude.
But to him, we have an accent.
Refreshing, literally.
To him, we have an accent. You sound like somebody that would be a great news anchor, by the way, on the BBC. I really
agree. Wait till I go back to Australia, then my accent really comes out.
Yeah.
Wait, g'day, mate. How you going?
Do we have different accents from each other? Like, do we have different accents, him and I?
Yeah, Americans have different accents.
No, I'm saying, like, does he sound different than I do? Like,
Yes.
does his accent sound different than my accent?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Can you give me before we go, because we got JJ Snyder, who's I believe waiting for us, but if you were like a news anchor and you had to get us out of a break, would you be like, KSHP news time is 1:30? Like, can you give me like a 10-second little, if you were a news anchor, what would that sound like? I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
I'm excited.
I've never done that sort of voice before. KSPH, this is Guy David reporting. Oh my God! Can we go to a break? I'm ashamed of myself.
Oh, but it was actually kind of good.
That was pretty
It was
good.
actually kind of good.
That was actually really good.
That was.
Can I hear you say "Holy crikeys"?
Holy crikey!
I see. I like that.
You owe me Elite 8 tickets for this.
How about if you had to do a Dungaroos commercial? What would that sound like?
Yeah, g'day, mate. That bloody roo. Yeah, it's causing all sorts of problems. It's going and eating my sheep. Yeah, don't want to mess with those roos.
We
They'll
gotta,
box you.
we gotta
I
get,
love this.
I love it. We got to get some like live reads from Guy David. Bringing us
Yes.
back from breaks, man. That's great. Well, anyway, Guy, I appreciate you being here.
Great seeing you guys.
Glad you're here in Vegas. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this
Boom.
every Friday.
Love it.
And I love hearing your perspective, my man. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for
so
everything
much.
you do. You
Thank
do it very,
Of
very
course.
well, and I enjoy it.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. I guess I'll be taking us into break without the Australian. The beautiful and talented JJ Snyder from Morning Blend is going to be joining us next. Some of the doings of what's going on in Las Vegas. Take a quick break. Be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Ruby Road, half a mile east of South End Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super hero, that is, because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Look, it's impossible for the average person to find a great attorney out there. There's so much misinformation. Now, let me introduce you to former Chief Deputy District Attorney Thomas Mosk. He was Las Vegas's top DUI prosecutor for years, prosecuted the most high-profile DUI cases in Clark County. No one knows more about DUI law in Nevada. Just Google it. If you get charged with DUI, whether it's a misdemeanor or even more importantly, a felony, you need Thomas Mosk representing you. His relationships with the prosecutors and judges, and his knowledge of DUI law will work for you. Give him a call now or text him at 702-848-5555. It's your life and liberty that's at stake. Don't wait. Call now. That number again, 702-848-5555. Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions, asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams and treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client. So please give them a call, 702-248-0554. All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits, and we are on a beautiful Friday in Las Vegas. I'm happy. I'm going to see a lot of Cougars are going to be out there.
Yeah.
Jamie, a lot of Cougars out there. Yes, that's right.
Go to Vegas.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, we got the NCAA tournament. There's so many different things happening over the weekend. And what better person than someone who has always been on the pulse of what's going on in Las Vegas? I actually met her. We were backstage, this lovely lady, with Perez Hilton, her friend Perez, and we were talking to Richard Marks, who I love, backstage at a show, and she's so awesome. I always love it when she comes on. Of course, I'm talking about actress and of course the hosting of the Morning Blend Show, which is an awesome show. If you've never checked it out, you should. JJ Snyder joining us right now. JJ,
hey JJ,
it is good to see you. How are you? Can we not hear?
Oh, she's fixing the AirPods.
There we go. There you go.
Hey JJ,
what's up? How you doing?
Brian, Jamie, so glad to see you.
Thank you.
How are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I know you're jealous, JJ, because I get to meet your boyfriend, Rick Springfield, today.
Oh my God. Do you know what? It's so weird. You did text me about Rick Springfield this week.
I did.
It's so weird because that takes me back to my childhood. So my connection to Rick Springfield, Jamie, was that my older sister had a poster of him on her bedroom wall. Like he was legit like the hunk of the day at one point in the 80s. I'm not kidding.
I love it.
So was that like your crush when you were growing up too, or that not really your type, or?
You know who I was really hot for as a child? Well, I don't know. Is that
bald Jewish radio host? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my God! Again, hitting on me. Like it's Jamie. It's been like 60 seconds.
Listen,
Brian, you're supposed to wait to the end of the interview.
Hold on, but wait. If you're not watching us live on YouTube at PTL Radio Show and you're just listening to us on KSHP, you're missing out on JJ. I have to give it to Brian. JJ, you're gorgeous, and look at the jacket you came to spend today for the show. Look,
you know why I'm wearing this, right?
Yes, why are you wearing it?
This is part of my Taylor Swift outfit.
Oh, okay.
Get
it.
Are you gonna
meet
JJ? Are you gonna meet Taylor Swift? Like, because you have all the connections. Are you going backstage?
No, but can I tell you something? By the way, my childhood crush crush was Lorenzo Lamas from Falcon Crest. Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah, you have to actually Google that to probably figure that out. Unless you were born. Yeah. No. So here's what's happening. I have to confess something. I don't know if this happens to you guys. Whenever I go to a concert, I fantasize about meeting the celebrity. I really do. I'm just going to be honest. I'm like, yeah, so I'm going to happen to get pulled up on stage by Taylor Swift and like, you know what I mean? Like it happens.
Right.
It goes through my head. Does that happen to you?
Yeah, it depends for me. Like, if it's like Donald Trump is holding a rally or something, I wouldn't want to meet him backstage. But it depends. Like if it was the Jonas Brothers, that really wouldn't do it for me. It depends. or maybe NSYNC. I don't know. I mean, not that I hate boy bands, but I think it depends on the musician, somebody that you admire. Like if it's somebody that I admire. I met Bill Murray yesterday, by the way, JJ.
What?
Yeah. So I'm
so jealous.
I'm at the Sweet 16 yesterday, and I'm sitting 5 feet from Bill Murray. I start talking to his nephew, and then his nephew's like, Bill, get over here. This guy does a radio show. And I started talking to Bill Murray for 5 minutes. He told me to shave my beard or my goatee. And he was giving me some crap about my appearance, which everybody does, rightfully so. I'm a radio guy. And I took a picture with him, and he could not have been nicer. I also met John Daly yesterday, the golfer, who's, speaking of beards, that guy in his book said he lost about $50 million in Vegas in casinos. Jeez. So we talked a little bit about that. But yeah, Bill Murray. Have you ever met Bill Murray? That guy's a legend.
God, no. But I mean, seriously, what a legend. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can imagine that he would just be a super cool guy right off the bat. You know what I mean? Like the same guy on screen he is in real life. Is that kind of how it works?
He said, I said, Bill, can I take a picture with you? And he says, what did you just say? I said, can I take a picture with you? And he goes, it's, may you take a picture with me? And he has this like serious look on his face. And I'm like, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, may I? And then he starts laughing. He says, I'm just effing with you. And then he takes a picture with me. And no, he was super cool. Really nice guy. So yeah, to answer your question, it's just like a guy like a Bill Murray. I have thought about that. And I think about people like Larry David, Howard Stern, people that I've grown up with. If I admire them, yes. If they're just some annoying celebrity that I don't like I wouldn't want to meet like Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian. It depends, right, JJ? Right. I guess that's what I'm saying.
See, JJ, you get to go to the Taylor Swift concert tonight. I'm super, super excited. You're out here for you. And you're out here, Brian, meeting all these great actors and celebrities and sports people. This is my 5th day in Vegas, JJ. My 5th day. What? This is my 5th day. I haven't met anybody yet. I need to get on your guys' level.
You've met me.
Well, yes. Okay, so
from the top,
JJ, I'm meeting you. I'm meeting Brian. Okay, let me tell you. I don't care what anybody says about Brian Shapiro's image. If you come to Vegas, this man is the man.
I wouldn't go that far.
Wow.
Come on, Brian. I went to the UNLV game and everybody was talking to him from different companies.
Yeah, well,
Anderson Hunt was just like, whoa.
Jamie, I would say a check's in the mail, but I'm broke, so you're not gonna get that check. So JJ, what do you got going on this week? And I know you said you're seeing Taylor Swift. She's awesome, by the way. I've seen her in concert.
I just want to tell Jamie this. By the way, Jamie, I'm going to Taylor Swift tomorrow night.
Okay.
Not tonight, but the show opens tonight. I think Maroon 5 is like, the hot ticket tonight, obviously, for Taylor, right?
Right.
Maroon 5 is just, I think this is going to be fun. They could be a very, very hot residency.
Right. And JJ, real quick, before you go into what's going on this weekend, I want to know, because I'm just like you, I definitely fantasize with that amazing celebrity moment where we're on stage together having a ball. Tell me how you will respond if you actually got pulled on stage with Taylor Swift.
Oh my God. You know what? The level of international spotlight that she has is so beyond anything I can imagine. I bet you any money, Jamie, the whole thing would be a blur to me. I know I'd probably freak out. I'd probably act like a teenager, and I'm so not. But that would be my thing.
Go ahead.
If Jamie's only been here a few days, I feel like we should give him a couple things off our bucket list, Brian.
Yeah.
Well, can I just save him some money real quick? Because you mentioned Maroon 5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay for
Brian.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Absolutely not.
Everybody just changed the
Absolutely
station.
not.
Go ahead, JJ. I apologize. Go ahead.
Okay, I think you should. I'm going to give you some really touristy things first, but I think you should jump off the Strat. Not like actually jump, but jump like connected.
JJ, oh my gosh, want to come back to work one day.
Are you afraid of heights, Jamie? I think you should go to the top of the Strat. So I'm going to start with some of the views.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little afraid, but I could do it.
Okay. You might want to consider that. Brian, what you got? What's next on your biggest bucket list?
Certainly, I like your stratosphere opinion. This might sound basic, but you got to go downtown to Fremont Street. You got to go bar hopping downtown. The people watching there is phenomenal.
I did it yesterday. It was so fun.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
So that would be something that I would definitely do. I think, the touristy stuff, just walking the strip and signing up for like a comp card and getting your
What's
cards.
that?
You get a card for free in these casinos. They'll give you $20 in slot play or something.
Oh.
Do the deals and kind of do all that stuff. Maybe the Mob Museum, get a little history of Las Vegas.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And while you're down there, go through Circa downtown. I actually did a downtown walking tour. This is super geeky, but I literally, I can send you the deets on that, Jamie.
Please.
I loved it. I mean, you want to start with for me, you want to know about how this town started. It's literally a train stop, literally.
Wow.
And it's kind of right about have you heard of the Plaza Hotel?
No,
right
what's
downtown.
That's been there for a while. It's actually the hotel, JJ, because you're a movie person like me, from Back to the Future too.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it still open?
Yeah. Oscar's. What's the restaurant called, JJ?
Yeah, Oscar's Steakhouse.
Beef Blues and Broads.
That's lit.
Yeah, that's a good one too, JJ. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Got to check out.
I'm glad that you went to Fremont, but if you want to step it up a notch, you go down there with your buddies and maybe all wear tutus or something.
I would so do that. Would you join me, JJ? Would you actually come if I did that?
All the way.
Yes. You guys heard it live here on Pushing the Limits. We're holding you to it, JJ.
There you go. So you're going to see Taylor Swift. Do you take your husband to something like that? Does he go with you, or do you just take a girlfriend? Who do you take to a show like that?
Yeah, here's the thing, about Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I don't think my husband can name a Taylor Swift song. However, this event is so big and there's so much hype and so much curiosity. Plus, she hasn't toured for years. We know she's probably going to do a 3-hour show. So it's more of it is sort of like a cultural experience that is taking over Las Vegas this weekend.
Really cool.
Super
yeah.
interesting.
I was going to tell you, a few weeks ago, I went to the Lou Ruvo Brain Institute, the gala, whatever. And
you did. I love that. That's beautiful.
In a span of 20 minutes, I interviewed Paula Abdul, Alice Cooper, Sammy Hagar, Wolfgang Puck. I was 2 feet away from John Mayer and Rick Springfield and the guy from REO Speedwagon. I'm forgetting his name. And it was just, JJ, it was just such an incredible event. And while a lot of events happen like that in LA, maybe they seem to be happening more here, right?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, there's a steady stream, including me, Jamie. By the way, where'd you move from?
I moved from LA, actually.
So did I. So there you go.
Connection. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You guys are hitting it off. I'm jealous.
I love JJ so far.
But wait, I would agree.
Can I actually move a question really quick?
Because I know ask her a question. She's the guest.
Yes, I know you're about to go into that because I really want to hear. But somebody told me last night while I was walking to Fremont, excuse me, I'm trying to say this correctly, that there is an old Las Vegas where you can see all the old strip and the old hotels.
The Neon Museum.
Oh, he didn't know the name. He just kept saying, try to Google it.
Sorry, JJ, that's a question for you. Why am I answering?
Well, okay, so by walking Fremont Street, Jamie, you actually were walking the original strip.
Oh, really?
Yes. So all those old hotels along Fremont Street is actually the site of the original strip.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's old Vegas.
Ran the opposite way. Back in the day, back when there was the Rat Pack and stuff, it just barely started to expand this way. In the what, right. Brian, late 60s maybe?
Yeah, around that time. And Oscar Goodman has done a great job in kind of cleaning up downtown. It's pretty cool. I mean, they have their issues still. But it's pretty cool. Safe. So JJ, what are you doing on your Sunday? Are you going to Bed Bath & Beyond? That was just a funny movie reference, but
what's funny? Bed Bath & Beyond is such a LA thing to do, and I actually haven't hooked into the Bed Bath. We do have really lovely Trader Joe's here, Jamie, just like in LA. Let's talk about a few other things. We have Randy's Donuts from just next to the airport in LA has now moved here, Jamie, in the last year.
Okay.
Resorts World is literally it's one after the other. It's LA transplants in terms of restaurants, cocktail lounges, bars. Wally's Wine is there, one of my favorite restaurants in Beverly Hills. And then, of course, now we have Earth Cafe, not only inside the Wynn, but in this area in the Southwest. I don't know. We got some great neighborhoods here, Jamie. So it'll be fun in addition to the Strip to get out and explore, the Henderson, the Summerlin, the Southwest, the North Las Vegas even.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Jamie's going to be just fine here.
I'm excited.
He's going to be just fine. I'm a little disappointed though, JJ, with who you are, that you're not able to get backstage to get a picture with Taylor Swift.
I'm surprised too. Not going to lie.
That surprises me.
I thought you would be there.
I mean, come on. You're JJ Snyder. How are you not getting backstage tonight or tomorrow?
You know what? I was totally not expecting it, but now that you say it, I'm calling my agent after this. Like, what am I paying them such a high percentage for if they can't even get me a picture with Taylor?
How is it that Brian, some idiot who does a radio show here in town, is able to meet Rick Springfield, but yet you're not able to meet Taylor Swift? Now, I would also say that there's probably a little bit of a higher demand these days to meet Taylor Swift and Rick Springfield. But that was really cool when we were backstage and we met Richard Marks. I love that guy. I talk to him once in a while, but he's a pretty busy guy. But
I mean,
isn't it great?
Listen, here's what you and I know, Brian. There's hype about people, and then there's people like Richard Marks, where I had no expectation going to that show, and he blew me away.
Yeah,
nice.
I agree. That was a great show, and he's an even greater guy. I mean, I remember I did a 45-minute interview with him, and it was pretty cool. Well, JJ, I always appreciate it when you take the time to come on. We know how busy you are.
It's so great.
Please enjoy the show tomorrow, and I will tell Rick Springfield today that you said hello. All right?
Oh my God, would you?
I will absolutely. I will absolutely do that, and hopefully we'll have you on again soon, and say goodbye to Jamie, your new best friend.
Yes,
bye. Lovely to meet you. Hey, you guys just keep pushing those limits, all right?
I'll try. I'll try to, JJ. Hey, you have a great weekend, man. I love you.
Have a great weekend in Las Vegas.
Yes. Woo!
Thanks, JJ. Take care. Love having her on. She's the best, isn't she? JJ Snyder from American. Did I say American Blend? I almost said American Pie.
No.
I don't think she was in that movie. She's been in some movies, but she hasn't been in that one. Morning Blend. JJ Snyder. There's some people in town that are in the media that maybe they're not very fond of me. Chances are I'm probably not fond of them. But there are some people in this town that are really good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, me. I mean, I'm so amazing. I'm so good at what I do.
I know you're being so sarcastic, but I really do believe that.
I
Brian,
that.
I'm being serious.
Very sexy man, and all the Cougars are going to be after me tonight.
I'm going to just support that part, though. I'm not going to comment. I'm just saying I support you.
You're not going to go any further like I am. No, but in all seriousness, JJ is very good at what she does, man. She's awesome, and they're very lucky.
Super inviting.
They're very lucky at that show to have her. She's very, very good.
Yes, congratulations.
And she's kind of got that pulse on Las Vegas, and she's kind of like me in a sense where. Well, she's not like me at all because she's extremely attractive. But other than that, she's got the pulse on what's going on. But she loves going to shows. That's what I love about her. There's some people like they report on stuff, but they don't actually enjoy going out. Like I love going out. I love this city, and I love going out to events here. The stuff I've done in this city in 20 years, I couldn't do anywhere else. I mean, I remember Jamie. I met Muhammad Ali, and it was his 70th birthday gala. The same Lou Ruvo Brain Institute thing. It was like it's like so much money just to get in there. And I did the red carpet, and I'm sitting a table over from Muhammad Ali. So me and another guy who worked at the time, he worked for ESPN Radio, right? And we're sitting at this table, and all of a sudden to my left, this is a true story, and I tell this story a lot because it's crazy, and you got to pinch yourself. To my left is Sir Anthony Hopkins, who sits next to me. Okay, and I'm like, oh my God, am I really sitting there having dinner with Sir Anthony Hopkins? Right? It's crazy, right? And then sitting 3 seats away from me at the same table is Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then to my right is the guy who owns the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones.
That's lit.
And I'm talking to my friend, and my friend whispers in my ear, like, dude, who doesn't really belong at this table? And I got Sir Anthony Hopkins. So, Brian, tell me a little bit about Las Vegas. What is it like living here? And I'm like, is this really happening? And that was, I was able to cover that event, and they let me into the event, which obviously they probably shouldn't have, but and it was so incredible. And that was a night where I met Chris Cornell, the late Chris Cornell from Soundgarden. James Gandolfini from The Sopranos, one of my favorite shows of all time. This was about a year before he died. He wasn't looking too good, but I was able to shake his hand, and I just wanted to say, Mr. Gandolfini, thank you so much for what you do. I just, and in his, not in his Tony Soprano voice, in his James Gandolfini. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It was so weird.
That's
crazy. Not Tony Soprano, right? I just shook his hand and said, thank you. And same thing a few weeks ago, to be able to meet Paula Abdul and to have her play with my goatee, which was very exciting.
I saw that on Twitter, and I had so much FOMO, Brian.
It was very exciting for me. Yeah. Alice Cooper invited me to play golf with him, but I never got his number, so I don't think that's going to happen. Sammy Hagar is just doing these types of things. Brian, you're a name dropper. Well, I'm just telling you stories and things that I remember for the rest of my life. And when you meet some of these people that you admire, and listen, I grew up with Paula Abdul. She was like a heartthrob, teenage heartthrob before your time. I don't know, but
I'm not gonna lie. Full transparency moment. I had to ask my mom about Paula Abdul.
She's a very pretty lady, and she had some hits on the radio, plenty of them. But it's just cool to meet these people, and you get to know them, and then you. Is that a little Paula Abdul for you? Oh, okay. But you get to know some of these people, and sometimes you meet celebrities, and they're not so nice.
Yeah,
that happens as well. And then it's a lot. You meet some that are disappointing, right? And you say, wow, I really like that person, he or she, but boy, what a jerk.
Yeah.
I met Ed Norton. They had a film festival here years back. And Ed Norton is there. And I just wanted to shake his hand and say, I put my hand up, Mr. Norton. I just wanted to say, and he just, the guy just like was such a jerk. He didn't want to talk to anybody. And then I meet somebody like Bill Murray yesterday, who you could say is maybe even more successful career than Ed Norton. And Ed Norton's had a great career, and he was just so cool with people.
Yeah.
Yesterday, he was so nice.
That's awesome. You deserve that, man. I'm glad that you have those experiences.
You get differences. You get different. Robert De Niro. I don't think Robert De Niro's a bad guy, but it was the most difficult interview I've ever had to do. The guy was giving me like 2-word answers.
Now, okay, real quick, Brian. I know we don't have much time left, but do you ever give these celebrities grace, understanding that like they're human too, and just may not want to be there, or just got irritated something that may happen?
So here's my thoughts on that. I try not to go up to celebrities when they're in a moment. Like, who's the famous UFC fighter? The Irishman. Why am I forgetting his name? Conor McGregor.
Yes. Let's say I know.
So I'm at Red Rock Steakhouse a month ago with some friends of mine, and he's sitting at the table over from us with his family. I would never go up to him. I would never ask him for a picture. I would never do it because it's inappropriate. But when you're in public at an event, or you're doing a charity event, or you're at a film festival, for example, people are going to go up to you. It's part of the territory. If you don't want to be bothered, there's a nice way of saying it.
Yeah.
Sorry, not right now. I'm doing this, or maybe later. Whatever. There's a nice way to talk to me, and then there's not a not nice way. I get it. When you're at a restaurant with your family, don't bother them. Leave them alone. If they're with their family walking, even on a public sidewalk, leave them alone. That's not appropriate.
Yeah.
But if they're at a public event, a charity event, or if they're at a concert, I understand you want to watch the concert, you want to watch the game. So pick a moment maybe when the concert's not going on or something.
Yep.
Sir, I'm sorry to bother you. Can I get a picture with you or something? And if they say no, that's fine, as long as they're not rude about it. But sometimes they're very rude about it.
I had a situation with Lil' Kim. I met her before, and I was at Usher's skate party during the Grammy weekend, and everybody was all around Lil' Kim. And she had so many huge security guards, and I was skating up to her, and literally for some reason, her security guards was pushing everybody away. When I was approaching Lil' Kim, they literally just moved out of the way. I don't know her security guards. I don't know them. I don't know how they knew me. Whatever happened. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, how did he just walk through the security guards? And I was like, hey, Lil' Kim, it's good to see you. It was obvious at first she didn't remember who I was, but I was talking to her. Everything was great. And then I was like, hey, do you want to take a picture with you? I want to update our memories. She's like, I can't right now. I really can't. And I said, it's okay. And she went into like full like defense. Like, no. I wasn't trying to be rude. I'm like, no. I totally get it. You said no. There's no issues. And I respect her for that. Like, no means no. She said it so respectfully.
They don't have any type of obligation to have to take a picture or sign an autograph.
But she was so respectful, and I appreciate it. Look, I love that.
Yeah, and that's cool. I don't have a problem with that at all. But if you're at some sort of charity event or you're giving your time, you have to expect the fact that people are going to go up to you. They're going to ask you for pictures. Your entire life is going. But it's also part of the territory of being a celebrity, and it's something that you have to deal with. All right. Well, this has been a fun week, everybody. Jaime Dee's first, not full week. Next week will be your first full week.
Yes.
It's 4 days this week. You had a 4-day week.
Yes.
Next week will be the 5-day week. But
I'm excited.
Yeah. I hope you take some of JJ Snyder's advice.
I'm going to shoot her a quick text. She's awesome.
Yeah, she is super cool. JJ's awesome. Appreciate all of our guests. How about John D. Domenico, also known as Donald J. Trump? Oh my God, that was so much fun. And we appreciate all of our guests, and of course, my guy David, coming to the studio as well. Been a fun week, and we will do it again on Monday. Give out those quick socials before we go.
Yeah, everybody, listen to us right now on KSHP. However, you can follow us everywhere on social media at PTL Radio Show, PTL RADIO SHOW. Don't miss out on everything we have to show you all.
All right. Well, thanks to Mark and everybody here at KSHP.
Thanks,
as
Mark.
always, we appreciate you. And I'm going to go take a picture with Rick Springfield, and I'm going to be verklempt.
Send me that text.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. I hope everybody has a fantastic
Yeah.
weekend. We will see
Happy
you on
Friday.
Monday. We'll see you on Monday, everybody.
We out.